My name is Mark Enslin. I am one of the facilitators of a class in the School for Designing a Society, and that class is called Connecting Cybernetics and Social Change. And we have the opportunity to speak with Timothy Kendrick, who has had an interaction with the Champaign County criminal justice system over the past many months and has offered to speak to us about his observations and experiences with that and to answer questions.
How you doing? My name is Timothy Kendrick. Originally from Chicago, and I stay in Houston, Texas right now. And I just had an ordeal with the Champaign County judicial system, fighting a case that was over 2.5 years long, which had got dismissed in the beginning after 21 months, and they refiled charges, bogus charges again. And yesterday, 2/9/11, it was dismissed entirely. So that's what it's about. Never give up. Fight. Don't give up.
So can you say something, we're all completely new to this, and could you just describe what happened?
Actually what happened was, I stay in Houston and my mama stay in Chicago, and one day my mama got sick and I came from Houston to go and visit her. However, my little brother was residing in Champaign, and I come and stay the night in Champaign, and I was gonna pick him up the morning, September the 4th, which I got here September 3rd of 2008. So I called and got directions and went over to pick him up. I was over the house about 20-30 minutes. Within 30 minutes, Champaign task force came into the house to conduct a raid for narcotics, and they found narcotics in the house, hidden in the closet, hidden in the kitchen drawer, and they found large amounts of money in the back room, and they arrested me as well as my little brother and several other people that leasehold in that apartment. I was charged with possession with intent to deliver a controlled substance, which was a Class X felony. My bond was set at $100,000. I couldn't post bond because I had a parole hold from the state of Texas, so which was a fugitive warrant, and I was just in there fighting the case in the county. I went to arraignment court. That's when I got my bond, and after arraignment court, which was September the 5th of 2008, I didn't step inside another courtroom until June 2009. However, they had I had court dates, but I never was able to go to them for each month until that time. And the court docket sheet said that I was personally present in court when I never had even got to leave the cell. So they was falsifying documentation to violate my due process, and that's exactly what they did. And but I didn't give up. I kept fighting. I kept going. I had 3 attorneys, and it ended up being 4 out of the total. The only reason why I had 3 attorneys because they wouldn't do what I wanted them to do. I was always crying and telling them I wanted to go to a speedy trial, because I know I hadn't done nothing, and I wanted to get this over with so I can go back, and start my life back over, whatever. However, come to find out, they got some informants that was in the house that testified to say, or was going to come testify if I was to go to trial, to say that all the drugs in the house was mine, that I brought them from Texas, that I had this big time drug ring in Champaign, Urbana, distributing large amounts of cocaine and cannabis throughout Champaign, Urbana. And I had a lot of people working for me, and mainly one of them was a female deputy that worked at the Champaign County Jail. And a lot of this was my family that was saying that I had brought the drugs into Champaign.
But it wasn't true.
No, it wasn't. Well, none of it true, So.
What would be their motivation for saying that?
Well, they got a prior conviction of drugs and guns, so being put in a situation like that where you have to go and do prison time for something so serious as a Class X, the minimum is 9 to 40 at 85%. So, you'll tell on really anybody. And that's what they was up against. If they could give a deal to the state's attorney or to the Champaign police, if they can make some kind of deal and give somebody up or tell on somebody to say they self, then that's what it was. And that's what this case came down to. The police, throughout discovery, the police fabricated evidence, withheld evidence, staged the crime scene. They took my Texas ID and put it in the kitchen cabinet to make it seem like I stayed at the apartment or I was involved in something illegal activity that was going in the apartment. But they had been, and this was my first time in this apartment, they had been surveillance in this apartment at least 3 or 4 days before I got there. They had put a dog at the door of the house to say that there was drugs in the house, and they had knew all the key players inside the apartment, that what they was doing and who they was operating with. So it was just crazy.
Was it just chance that they happened to come in when you got there, or was it?
Well, if honestly, it was me being at the wrong place at the wrong time. But like I said, they had been investigating this apartment and these group of people for over a month, and this a particular apartment. They had got information from a confidential informant that had got arrested September the 1st of 2008, and he provided them with information on September the 2nd. So you had to take that investigation from the 2nd, and then his information, they had to go and follow up on his information. So they go and get a dog to sniff on the door of the apartment, and that was on the 3rd of September. So the next day they had got a search warrant from the judge, and it take time to get all that information. And in that particular day, September 4th, that's how that happened.
Did the search warrant have any people's names on it?
The search warrant, it didn't have no specific names on it. It just had the apartment and what should be found in the apartment. However, the affidavit to get the search warrant had the names on the people that leased the apartment.
What were you, I was curious because you said that you were not getting satisfaction from the lawyers that you had. I wondered, were they public defenders?
No, the first lawyer I had was from Chicago, and he was moving slow. And when you got when you're in a situation like dealing with the criminal justice system, you have to put in paperwork at a timely matter. And I asked him to give me a speedy trial, and he wouldn't do it. So he was telling me all kind of stuff that didn't even matter. I wanted to get a speedy trial and a motion to suppress evidence. And so when I found out that he wasn't going to do it, he was a paid attorney. I fired him and got another lawyer, which was down here, and he gave me and my people to run around. He was a paid lawyer also, nothing pertaining to the case, and actually he the one that killed my speedy trial, 120-day speedy trial. He went and filed a motion that demanded a jury trial and not a demand for a speedy trial. And this is on the record. So he kind of worked with the state, and he came and showed me the motion. And I was like, why did you put in the motion for demand for not a speedy trial? And he was like, the state needed a continuance. So it was like they buddy.
Well, I'm really glad. Congratulations. And I'm sorry
Thank
that you
you.
had this experience. It's really unfortunate that it's not rare. And now that this part is over, as we said in the beginning, it's affected your life, right, for the past couple of years. So I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about what kind of impact it had. I mean, clearly it's at least inconvenient and costly, but what kind of other impacts did it have on your life, or what impact does it have on your life going forward? It's more than just inconvenient,
The impact it had on my life, far as it put me in a situation being incarcerated 21 months, and people don't really believe you, you know. And I wrote a lot of people, you know, but it make me want to be able to be the voice for the people that's incarcerated. And you know, I don't know how much I can contribute to helping that out, but sometimes people just gotta listen and do just a little bit of investigation, you know. It don't take a lot of money or, you know, a lot of resources, you know. It's just you have to be able to listen to the individual that's crying out, you know. And that's hard because society is so blinded by an individual that's incarcerated. They just think that this is a terrible person, which that's not the case. That's not the truth, you know. Now some people do need to be in there, but you know, some of them, nah. What am I thinking about doing? I want to go to school for paralegal, you know. That's my heart. I've been wanting to be a lawyer since I was a little kid. However, I got a felony on my background, you know, so that stops me from running my own firm or something like that. But I do want to do a paralegal work and see who I can help out in that nature, you know. And it took me a lot of weight, a lot of time from my son, you know what I'm saying. And one time I talked to him on the phone, and he kind of crushed me, you know. He was like, I was like, what you doing? I've been writing you letters. And he was like, I was like, why you ain't write me back? He was like, I've been busy, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of crushed me, you know, because it's like, I'm being busy up in here, you know. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's not cool, so.
How old is he?
He 13. He'll be 14 March. So, yeah.
I'm curious if you have any documentation of the falsified evidence that you spoke of, and if you have any plans of filing a civil suit.
Actually, I do have documentation, and it was hard getting it. As far as the suit go, I'm not going to disclose that right now, you know, but I got evidence, paperwork that they tried to clean up and say that it didn't happen. You know, they tried to go back and clean up, and you can't get past the black and white, you know. So, yeah.
Why do you think the police falsified evidence?
Why do I think the police falsify evidence? I still ask that question myself, honestly. You know, I don't know if it's for the money or what it's about. Is it the black community? Because if you really outside the picture, you're not really seeing what's going on within our community. You know, and this is not just me. They do it all the time, every day. You know, this is a program that they got designed just doing what they do, you know. And it's the real deal. It's nothing that's not makeup or a fantasy. You just hear it. No, this is what they doing. This is what the taxpayers paying them to do, you know. Not saying that they know they doing it, but it is.
And you are now in financial debt?
Oh, I'm broke. I think I got $1 in my pocket. Yeah, my family helped me. My family and friends, people that I met inside the county jail, people that I met coming out the county jail when I was released when the charge was dismissed and I was released. They even volunteered and helped me. People that I don't even know that came through and helped me with the flight to come up here, the bus, the train. You know, that was a blessing, you know. And I mean, yeah, I've been broke. Yeah.
You mentioned that you asked for a speedy trial, which means that you were knowledgeable that you should. Most people that find themselves in jail don't even know what they're supposed to ask for to begin with. First of all, how did you know that? And second, and more importantly, can you distinguish between a speedy trial and a jury trial, and why would you make that decision? And that sort of, you know, what knowledge did you bring that you were able to beat them at the game?
That's a good question. I was incarcerated from 99 to 2007 in Texas state prisons. And throughout my 8-year bid, I did research after research in the law library, studying my case, appealing my case. And that's what I'm on parole for right now. So I'm kind of knowledgeable of the judicial system and, what they do and how to fight a case or whatever. I'm not that good, but, I'm not dumb either. A difference between a speedy trial and a jury trial is a speedy trial, if you're incarcerated, is automatic. You have it depends on which state it is. Like in Texas, a speedy trial is 180 days. In Illinois, it's 120 days. So if you're incarcerated, it's automatic. However, if you in the free world, you have to demand a speedy trial. So the only time a speedy trial stops is if the defendant requests for a continuance. That's the only time it stops. But within that 120 days, if you're not in trial, I'm not talking about picking your jury. If the trial is not started within the 120 days, the case has to be dismissed. That's a violation of your 120-day speedy trial. A jury trial is just a year, a couple days after arrest or whatever, 2-3 years later. You can have a jury trial or a bench trial, which is a bench trial, a trial by a judge. A jury trial is it's no time limit. That's all it is. That's the difference. The speedy trial is a time limit that you don't want to violate. You want to implement that when you first, whenever, even if you're out free, you want to exercise that right. And they never gave me the opportunity to exercise it.
And was that why they were falsifying your appearances as well? Were there dates that you had to appear in order to do something in the court, and they just weren't bringing you in, and then they falsified it? It appear that you had been there.
That's exactly. It's like today is my court date. Okay, say I went to arraignment court. They set my bond and everything. Now I got the next month. I got a court date, and I have to be in court. If you're in the free world and you miss a court date, they get a warrant out for your arrest and stuff like that. So, I'm incarcerated. You have to take me over here to appear in court. Even if I want to go pro se and represent myself, you still have to take me over here to do that. And what they would do is it'll be my time to go to court, and they'll have me sitting over there, and I'll be like, I got a court date today. Well, we know, but it got continued. They continued it. So what I would do is I got tired of sitting over there not knowing what's happening in court, calling my lawyer, like, what happened? Oh, well, they continuing. I started requesting the court docket sheet. And the court docket sheet would say, Timothy Kendrick appeared personally with counsel. And this case was loaded for trial or continued. So I'm like, I ain't go to court that day, So on this particular specific day was November 25th, on the 20th of 2008. I called my lawyer, and I was like, okay, I go to court tomorrow on the 25th. Make sure that you tell him I want a speedy trial. I know it's already automatic, but I want you to make sure that you let it know for the record, because I'm thinking in terms of an appeal. I want to have something on the record that I did say I want, And I didn't get to go to court on the 25th, but he put the motion in for a demand for a jury trial, not a demand for a speedy trial. So if I was in court and I knew he did this, I could have easily contested what he said and told you, hold up, Your Honor, I want to fire him, but I didn't even get that opportunity, so.
Were you pressured to plea bargain at all?
A couple times. Inside the house of the initial raid, the police wanted me to say something about myself or anybody that I knew something, and they'll help me out. And then when I got incarcerated, 2 weeks after my incarceration in the county jail, the same detectives come and threaten me, talking about the feds is coming to get you in a couple of days. So you need to tell us who you get the drugs from, and how much did you pay for them, and who was all working for you, and we gonna see if we can talk to the state's attorney and get you a deal. So you won't have to do life. You can do about 14 or 15 years. So
So it wasn't just they were asking you to plead guilty, they were asking you to name other names.
yeah, give them information or something. So my lawyer, Leroy Cross, I'm gonna say his name. He crossed me out, you know. He come in there, and in the beginning he was telling me that he not gonna take the case unless he ready to go to trial. He don't do no case unless it's trial case. So he was just telling me I had to sit a little longer. But when it come down to I'm ready to go to trial, he telling me to take 11 years. Now the deal that the state gave me in the beginning was 40. The minimum is 9 years, 85%. The maximum on the case is 40 years. So the first deal that they offered me was a 40 years. So I mean, what you expect, you know? So after 21 months being incarcerated, he come and telling me to take 11 years at 85%. Plus, I can go and work for the government and help set up other people, you know. And I just told him I'm ready to go to trial.
You mean be an informant?
Yeah.
How common is that?
Huh?
How common is that?
Oh, that's what it is. That's every day, all day. You know, everybody. That's what they doing now. That's the new game. You know, it's not even snitching no more. It's like if I get in trouble, I can go say anything about anybody, or I can just go set him up. You know.
Is that what you maybe expect happened to you? Like someone named your name so they could get a deal?
I ain't no doubt about that. You know, I mean, in the situation in my case, it was a total of 1, 2. It was me, my little brother, the 2 people that leased the apartment, and they best friend and they son. So it was a total of 6 people, including the little 2-year-old boy. So the 2 people that leased the house was offered a deal to say that the stuff in the house was mine, to let their best friend leave with their son. So they wouldn't call DCFS, because procedure and policy, you have to call DCFS when a child is involved. So they made a deal with them. We gonna let your son leave if you tell us what we want to know. And that's what they was faced with. And so they did what they had to do.
Right.
So a lot of people are put in the situation that you were put in, completely set up and everything, right?
Majority, yeah, you
Well,
can say that, yeah.
Most of them don't have the amount of knowledge you do about the justice system.
No, and that's what killed us.
Right. What would have happened if you hadn't known as much as you did about the justice system? What happens to those people?
A few things can happen. They can become an informant and go set up somebody that's innocent, or set up somebody that's guilty. You know, they can become a person that's endangering their life and their family life, because when you become an informant, the police is not going to protect you. They're going to act like they are, you know, and you putting your name up, and you always going to be in somebody's discovery if you tell on somebody. So they going to always know that you was the person that did it, even if they change your name. So that's one aspect that you getting put in. You endangering your life and your family life for becoming an informant. And either you inside the penitentiary or you outside in the free world, you was in danger, you know, because they gonna know, period, by the paperwork. Another thing is they gonna come at you with a deal. And most time, this is how they get their conviction rate. Most time people take the deal, you know, not knowledgeable of the law and scared, you know. They don't know. They feel like, okay, if I take this, I'll be home in this amount of time. Instead, if I go to trial, you got a 50-50 chance at trial. I'm not going to go there because they're going to give me more time. I'll take this deal, you know. So a lack of knowledge, really. And
They
even
lie
if
about the amount of time as well.
Yeah.
They'll tell you if you go to trial, you're gonna do all these years.
Yeah,
Take this deal though.
yeah. See, they give you a deal, and I don't even understand why they allowed to do that. They offer you a deal at 3 years, but if you take the trial, now it goes up. That's not fair, you know. That's not right. So it's crazy. It's crazy. But everybody in my case, supposedly telling on me. These are people that got caught with the illegal drugs and the guns and the money. They got let back out, you know. There's one dude that's in federal custody that he wasn't fortunate enough to get out. He was the state's main witness against me, and they charged me with, after the case was dismissed, they charged me with more serious, a more serious crime, which was trafficking and conspiracy, which the maximum was 18 to 80 at 85%, you know, and I didn't do nothing, but they didn't even do nothing to the other people that, you know, so it's
So it was dismissed once?
It was dismissed June 23rd of 2010. The state refiled charges, enhancing it to trafficking, conspiracy, and possession of the same case the next day, June 24th of 2010.
So the one case being dismissed didn't do anything for you?
Well, it did.
It just meant that you were facing a more serious charge.
When they dismissed it, they picked the case up and made it worse a year, off the same evidence.
With different charges? Like, I mean, how did they step around the double jeopardy?
They changed the dates. They went a year back. They changed it from the actual rate was 2008. They said from a year of 2007 until 2008. So they changed it. You know, that's how they play the game.
They time travelers.
Yeah.
What, if I might ask, and this certainly, if you don't feel like answering, I would understand. But what do you think should happen to the folks who lied about in your family, but also on the police force? What do you think should happen to those?
It's crazy. It's a good question. I mean, you know, what they did, I can see by being put in a position, you know, of the threats and being fooled. They just think like black people is stupid, you know, so that's why they come at them like that, you know. And they got put in a situation, and anybody will do it, really, you know, honestly. I don't wish nothing bad for them, honestly, for real. But as far as the police go, and the courthouses, I wish they could be reprimanded for what they did, because what they did to me and how they did it was just illegal. You know, it was cruel and unusual. You shouldn't do nobody like that. You know, I wasn't too much even worried about how the police did it. You know, I was upset about it, you know, disturbed. But how the courthouse did me, had me sitting over there and denying me due process, you could at least just gave me that much. You didn't even give me the opportunity, you know. So if you just sitting over here and you can't do nothing, do you know how that feel? You know, you can say something all day, you can write the grievance up, but it's nothing happening, you know. That's just something like, you just want to go and commit suicide for real. It's just crazy, you know. But
The lawyers that you hired, why weren't they interested in helping you? Like, why were they like helping?
Everything is a hurry up, close, let me get my check and go.
Okay.
You know, and a case as serious as mine is like, let's get him a deal and get him out the way, because they don't believe you. They don't go and look at no discovery, but they want to come at you with a deal. So they don't know the facts of the case. You know, they just want to get this over with. You know, and honestly, on my opinion, in this particular case, I think it came some time that the state went and said that we need this dude. So I need you to put this motion in to make sure that he don't get this speedy trial. That's my opinion, though. You know, I don't know exactly what really happened or why he did what he did, but that's just my opinion because that's how they play. They play hard over there.